Hey, how's it going, Phillies and Fellers? Brad the Fixologist here. In some recent videos over on my Guitologist channel, did some videos with a company called TEMU. TEMU is a shopping website. They also have this app. If you go to their website, I'll put down the description where you can go and download their app, and you can check out some of the stuff that you can get on there. Just dirt cheap prices on stuff like tools. But yeah, definitely download their app down in the description there, and also check out the discount code that they've offered my viewers. If you put that discount code in when you get to their website, it'll give you a means to save even more money there, so definitely check that out. But they have sent me some stuff here we're going to check out. We've got some tools and a couple of things that possibly I didn't even know I needed until I saw them on TEMU. So first off, I'll show you a couple of just the mundane things that we got here. A little stainless steel washer kit. I am really low on washers. I've got a lot of screws for whatever reason. You know, I disassemble things all the time and I save all the screws from that, and I've got parts drawers full of screws, but I don't have very many washers, and this kind of solved that problem for me. It gave me a lot of washers in a small kit. These are so cheap. It was like, man, I really wanted to buy about 5 or 6 of these because they were so cheap. Also last year, a couple of times I had some stripped bolts and things like that it was just like, okay, well, I really don't have a tap and die set. I'll have to come up with another solution. It would have been a lot easier if I'd have had this. This is a 60-piece tap and die set. We're going to open this up because I'm really excited about this. I have not had a full tap and die set. I've had a few random taps in my tools. Nothing special. It's kind of a flimsy plastic case, but no, it's not. I say flimsy, but it's not that bad. You know, these always usually end up breaking right here, so I try to be careful with them. Let's see. Some things have fallen out here in shipping, but that's all right. But let's see what we've got here. What does the quality of these look like? Yeah, these don't look bad at all. These do not look bad at all. So we've got, it's a 60-piece kit. What do we have here? Okay, here are all the sizes of the threads and everything that we get in this particular kit. They had several other kits on the site, and this is the one that I chose because it seemed to be sort of the most bang for the buck. And I was given a budget. Yeah, see, this has got metrics over here, and it's got standards. Well, that's metric stuff. Here's your standards, your imperials. So that's what attracted me to this particular kit, because it had a mix of both metric and imperial standard, and for the price it's really impossible to beat. So definitely a good addition to the tool chest right there. Okay, another thing that we got from TEMU, I could not believe that. First of all, I didn't even know these existed in this form until I saw these on TEMU, and I was like, I think I pretty much need that.
I want that.
I had no idea that these even existed, so I didn't know that I needed this. I did know that I needed a welder. There were a couple times last year working on some machines where I did need a welder. There were a couple of projects that I had to put on the back burner as well because I did not own a welder. We are not going to be able to fully test these, unfortunately, today, because look at this. Here's what it looks like outside my house today. Not really a very conducive day for going outside and welding. I think it's, especially with a little handheld welder like this that we've gotten, I think it's going to be tough to get anything up to temperature where any weld is going to really hold. And I really don't want to test it in these kinds of conditions. I don't have a heated shop, so that's a no-go for today. But we will open this up and we'll check it out now. Roughly the size of like a handheld drill. It comes with like a little rudimentary mask. This is not a great mask. I will probably end up upgrading my mask at some point if I do a lot of welding. But it does have has the shield. There's your mask that you can kind of hold over your face while you do it. It comes with a couple of sticks. Let's see, how many does it come with? It comes with 3 welding rods. The welding rods, they get clamped right in here, so you push this, insert your welding rod, basically, and just point and shoot. You hook this up to whatever it is that you're welding. You got a big piece of steel or something. Hook this onto the piece of steel. You've got your rod here, and just point and click. I mean, it couldn't really get more convenient than this. It even comes with a little brush to clean up your spot where you're about to weld. They had several different models of these. They all looked really similar, and it looked like some of them were actually rebrands. So it's like the same machine, but just rebranded something else with different colors and this and that. So there's, you'll find a lot of that too on other websites, and that's also happens on TEMU. You'll get a lot of different brands that are the same machine, and they'll be priced different. So it really helps you to scroll and just shop around when you get the app. As far as welders go, this could not get any simpler. My only hope is that it outlives my expectations for longevity. This is another item I saw on there. Had no idea that I really needed it. Had no idea it even existed. But I thought I'll give it a shot because it was so cheap that it was hard to resist. Now, what is it? This is a hopper that goes on here like so. So it installs when it goes this way. It installs like this, okay? And there's a hole in here, and this attaches to your air hose. Well, that's like a mini sandblaster. You can put, different material in here, like baking soda and whatnot, and it will blast rust and whatever you want to sandblast, you can blast with this. There is a hole here that closes it off or opens it up, and it only gets so big, so whatever you use for the sandblasting has to be smaller than that. There probably are some size limits. This came with no documentation whatsoever. There's nothing. It's just a box. Unfortunately, I can't tell you very much about this thing other than we're going to try it out at some point. And once again, this is something that I saw it and I thought, you know what? I didn't know I needed that, but I need that. Also got some extra welding sticks for the welder. And they were cheap, so I went ahead and got some of those. This, I want to, we're going to do a shootout on these tools right here. Okay, we're going to check these new style adjustable wrench solutions against something like an old style pair of channel locks. And to do that, we're just going to use a simple bolt. All right, so we're holding this. We're going to try this one first and see if we can tighten this down on here. So now the cool thing about these is they're just kind of a grab and go solution, and they should work in a lot of different scenarios. And it looks like it might be a bit cumbersome and slip a lot if you don't have good purchase on whatever it is you're trying to tighten down. But theoretically, once it gets locked in there, you should be able to just keep tension on it and swivel it around. And if this was stationary, I would say that would probably work very well. So I would say that passes. This one right here, we're going to try to get this off of here. Now, lock washers are, they're kind of notoriously difficult sometimes to get on and off because they're just, that's the way they're made. They're made to lock on to the bolt. My main problem is holding it with this. So I'll tell you what, let me switch to this and let's try holding it instead with this contraption. And it should be a good size to hold it theoretically. It looks like it should hold it. So let's try holding it with this one, and we'll undo it with this one. And like I said, once that gets locked on there, it seems to do very well. Actually, that right there is, that's way more stable. Let's see, I'm going to do the bolt side. So I'll hold the nut with this end, and we'll do the bolt end with this one. Whoops. Wrong side. I don't know what difference that's going to make, but it seems like it might. All right, so we were able to tighten it on and off with these. This, I can already tell you, is a better way to hold a bolt or a nut than the channel locks. It's way more stable. If I had both sizes of this, then we could go screws and or bolts that are even smaller. But this, I think, its limit is 1/2 inch. It's 1/2 inch and up. If your bolt was stationary like this, if it was through something, this would have to go on there, and you would have to keep loosening and tightening it back onto the bolt to tighten it or loosen it, you know, because it would be hard to tighten it down and keep that tension while you also, you know, rotate it. These, the cool thing, once it gets locked on there, and as long as you keep pressure in one direction, it will, you can just sit there and do this with one finger with these. So those are rather convenient if something is stationary, for sure. They're less convenient if you're doing it out here like I am. This beats the channel locks in terms of trying to hold something still while you're, like if you're grinding something, instead of holding it, instead of grabbing that bolt right there with some vice grips, you know, and holding it like that, you could very easily hold this. This is not difficult, and it's not going anywhere. In or out, up or down. That's there. So just grabbing it like that, that's good and stable. And then you could, you know, get your grinder or something, like if you're trying to grind the end off the bolt or cut the bolt or something like that. That's, well, I say it was stable. Worked its way out of there, didn't it? Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not so much. Like if you hit it the wrong way, it might. I think the see, these are having a tendency to kind of move. If the tolerances were a bit tighter as far as the connections there, it might be better, but then they might not move in and out so easily, and they might not grab onto slightly irregular objects, you know, as easily. But actually, you know, once you get it good and tightened down, that's kind of hard to move out of place. That's real hard to move out of place. So I mean, you'd have to put considerable force. I would be comfortable holding that right there like that, and taking my grinder or something and grinding the end of it, or taking like a Dremel and, you know, dremeling the end of something like that with holding that like that. And the cool thing about this is it would be really quick. You just get rid of it like that. Whereas, you know, a piece of some vice grips, it takes a little more effort getting them on and off. Okay, now this guy, this is kind of the wild card. I don't know about that thing. The more I look at it, the more I'm skeptical I am of it. But let's see how it does at tightening this this lock nut on here. Let's see if I'm going the right direction. No, I'm not. Make sure if this is the right size. Maybe I should use this one. Okay. Nope. It's got to go this way, surely. Yeah, it's got to go this way. All right. So this is kind of the same concept as these. It's got the teeth, and also, you know, your standard old style pair of channel locks. It's got the teeth that will kind of self-adjust, and will it get it on and off? Yeah, the problem is now that if I wanted to get it off and I want to turn backwards, it comes right off. So what I have to do is flip it to go the other way. Which, well, is that, did I have the same direction? See, I'm even getting confused. Okay. Wait, I want to loosen it. I want to loosen it, so it's got to go this way. There we go. Now I've got it. Okay. So now that's off of there. I'm gonna put this against this now, because I want to try this again, because I'm wondering. Okay, I can tell you the advantage of this one over this is that this is a little bit longer, so you get a little bit more purchase on it, and it's a little bit more comfortable. It doesn't have these jagged edges and stuff on it. But once you get this going, though, as long as you lock it on here and get it started, then it's pretty easy to keep going. Like right now, I'm kind of getting in my own way with my hand here, so it's. And that's the other thing too, though. Once this gets really close down on a surface, spinning this thing around like this close to a surface, you're going to be hitting the surface, so that could mar up a lot of surfaces. These are absolutely worth having for the price, I would say. You throw those in a little toolbox, and, you know, when push comes to shove, if you got nothing else, those would come in handy. This right here, you know, it's bigger and bulkier, and the tolerances are not so well refined. You know, it's floppy. It's kind of bulky and stupid. So between these and these, I've given my druthers, I would take those, I think, because I don't think there's anything that this could do that these really couldn't do in a pinch. This, it would be nice to have both sizes of it, but the size that I do have is technically, it should technically work with this 1/2 inch. Now, if you got into big bolts like that were very, very large, and you were trying to hold on to it with your hand wide open like this, and that might be a little bit more difficult. But I would be, like I said, very comfortable holding something like a bolt like that, even, and using a grinder or a Dremel tool or something on the end of a bolt, or to grab something or whatever. So how do they stack up to the old channel locks? You know, am I going to get rid of my old channel locks? Absolutely not, because channel locks are pretty useful for a lot of things. As far as the size, I mean, look at the size of that. Look at how big that adjusts. That adjusts bigger than anything on this desk. And it'll adjust just as small as everything on the desk in one tool. You know, so am I going to get rid of those? Absolutely not. That's kind of the downfall with this design, is that you need 2 different ones to get all of the sizes that you would normally need. And this is another instance too where I don't know that this would be very useful right up against something. Like if this bolt, or if the nut was right down on the tabletop like that, you know, and I was having to turn it like this right up next to it, that might be a little more difficult, trying to keep that closed and turn it at the same time. These, I think that the raw edges of these, I'm just, if you were worried about marring something up, I don't know that I would be comfortable doing it down on something and risking scratching it up. So it'd be best really for machinery. On a scale of most useful to least useful, I would say these are probably the most useful. For the price especially. This second most, and that third most. I would still have my pair of channel locks over any of these. Oh yeah, so the one thing that I forgot about, this one. We're going to need the power tool for it. So we're just, and obviously, it's kind of in a different class because it's really meant to be used for a power tool. You could technically put this, use this as a hand tool as well. Oh, I'm seeing the flaw. Are you seeing the flaw? The flaw is how far can I actually go with it? And the answer is not that far. Could I bolt this all the way down with that tool? Absolutely not. Could I do it with these tools? Yes. So in that regard, these still kind of beat this. It just really depends on the scenario, but yeah, I'm not able to go any deeper than that. That's not very deep. Let's try it with the power as a power tool. Yeah, well. That's as far as it'll go. So, did it work? Yeah, it worked. That's actually a nice little tool. I like that. You know, but it does have its limitations. It's not a diss on a tool for it to have limitations, because every tool has limitations. But, you know, which ones have fewer limitations and which ones are more useful in a broader range of situations. If you were going to do a desert island toolbox and it had to be a certain size, or if you were going to the moon, you know, and you had to take tools that would be very lightweight, small, compact, and that would do the most for the least weight capacity or space, I would say these probably are the most. These are what would go in that toolbox. This might have a place as well, to be honest, because you could do things more rapidly, and this would take the space of a lot of different sockets. Could be pretty useful as well. So would this go on my moon landing hypothetical toolbox? Yeah, I'd probably take those right there. Alright guys, that'll do it for this video. If you have liked it, hit the like button down below. Make sure you download the TEMU app. That'll do it for this one. Hope you've enjoyed. Hit subscribe. We'll see y'all later.